Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dive deep into Canto 10 of the classical Indian text, the Yoga Vasistha. Together, we're going to unpack some genuinely profound, ancient theories on consciousness, space-time, and the ultimate nature of reality. Just imagine for a moment that we're sitting down to study an ancient map of the human mind, one that promises to reveal the deepest truths of our very existence.
And it all starts right here, with the most fundamental question of all human existence. Who am I? This single piercing inquiry acts as the inciting incident for her entire spiritual journey today. It's the spark that ignites the fire of self-discovery. And honestly, it challenges literally everything we think we know about our physical reality.
Our roadmap for today covers 1. The quest, who am I? 2. Diluting Maya and ultimate Brahman. 3. The illusion of spacetime. 4. Consciousness and multidimensions. 5. The transcendental state. And finally 6. A practical path to salvation.
Let's jump right into section 1, the quest. Who am I?
To truly understand Canto 10, we have to remember the context. This text is beautifully framed as a Socratic dialogue between the enlightened sage Vasistha and his royal student, Lord Rama. Rama is going through a profound existential crisis. He is struggling deeply with the illusions of the material world, and Vasistha is stepping in to guide him, step by step, toward liberation. So, let's dive into the core of this crisis by exploring verse 39. In Sanskrit, this timeless inquiry sounds like Koham, Katham idam jatam samsaram, ko asya swabhava. Translated directly into English, Rama is asking his guru, who am I? How did this worldly delusion arise? What is its nature? You see, he's not just asking a passing question. He's questioning the very origin and fabric of the reality he sees around him. And it turns out, this specific self-inquiry acts as a Brahmastra, an ultimate unstoppable weapon. But it's a weapon of the mind. Actually, scratch that. It's more like the ultimate antidote to the mind's own confusion. It's designed to completely dismantle the disciple's ego and sever their false identification with the physical body. It forces an internal journey, cutting right through our everyday worldly anxieties. Which brings us to section 2, diluting Maya and ultimate Brahman.
We simply can't progress here without defining Maya. Maya is the cosmic illusion. Think of it as the mechanism that completely tricks our restless minds into believing that this physical, dualistic, everyday world is all that exists. It masks the underlying truth, constantly keeping us tethered to temporary joys and, of course, inevitable sorrows. This leads us beautifully into verse 40. The Sanskrit principle states, Kshayo mohasya brahmanam, meaning the destruction of delusion is Brahman. The spiritual meaning here is absolutely revolutionary. It tells us that salvation isn't some physical place you travel to after you die. No, it's simply the removal of the illusion. When Maya is destroyed, what remains is the ultimate truth. And that ultimate truth, that is Brahman. Brahman is the absolute, unchanging, infinite reality. It is pure, non-dual consciousness. It doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end, and it exists entirely independent of the physical dimensions that you and I currently experience. So we have a really stark conceptual divide here. On one side, we have Maya, chaotic, tied to the restless mind and strictly bound by space and time. But on the other side is Brahman, peaceful, non-dual, infinite, and timeless. Ultimately, our entire spiritual journey is about making the move from this chaotic illusion into that timeless peace.
Let's shift gears to section 3, the illusion of space-time.
Now, this is where things get really mind-bending. The text describes space and time not as fixed physical constants, but as highly relative experiences generated entirely by the mind. Within a single moment of absolute consciousness, a thought can arise that contains an entire lifetime. In fact, whole cosmic epochs of creation and destruction can pass in what feels to us like a fraction of a second. Time's completely elastic. It's shaped entirely by our perception. Building on that, we arrive at section 4, consciousness and multidimensional realities. When we compare physical reality to the mind's reality, it is fascinating. While our physical bodies perceive a singular linear dimension with a fixed progression of time, the mind's reality operates under totally different rules. The mind can contain infinite, parallel, and nested universes. Think of them like Russian nesting dolls, universes within universes. And these dimensions operate completely independently of our linear physical reality. Notice how this builds a logical sequence of descent. First, there's just pure Brahman, infinite consciousness. Then the restless mind arises. The moment the mind arises, it immediately conceptualizes space and time just to give itself a playground to operate in. And finally, Maya layers these concepts, tricking us into believing these fabricated, multidimensional realities are solid and real.
So, how do we get out? That's Section 5, Reaching the Transcendental State. Let's look at the Sarga transition, verses 4 and 5. In Sanskrit, we hear Desha Kala Padarthanam. The text translates this ultimate goal as stepping completely outside of space and time. What does that mean? It means actively shifting your awareness away from the mind's endless cinematic creations and resting in pure, unconditioned consciousness. It's a state of absolute, unwavering stillness. To understand how we can actually achieve this transcendental state, we have to properly define the soul, or Atman. Now, the Atman is not a glowing physical orb inside your chest. It is simply the localized expression of Brahman. It's the silent observer. The Atman watches this massive, multidimensional illusion of Maya unfold, but the beautiful part is it's never touched, harmed, or altered by it in any way. Finally, we reach Section 6, a practical path to salvation.
So how do we practically apply all this deep philosophy? Well, true enlightenment isn't about abandoning your family and running off to meditate in a remote cave. Instead, it's about practicing internal renunciation. You continuously ask, "Who am I?" to pierce the ego. You fulfill your worldly duties and live your modern life, but you remain internally detached from past regrets and future anxieties, just resting there as the silent observer.
Before we wrap up this explainer, I want to briefly connect this to the next chapter. Canto 10 does an incredible job of breaking down the illusion, but Canto 11 is going to show us exactly how to sustain this transcendental awareness continuously, even amidst the absolute chaos of our modern daily lives. To summarize our entire journey through Canto 10 today, we followed a beautifully logical path. We started with a single, piercing question to shatter our ego. We recognized the grand illusion of Maya, learned exactly how the mind fabricates the dimensions of space and time, and finally discovered how to step back as the Atman to realize the ultimate, peaceful reality of Brahman. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to carry with you. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, if space, time, and this entire universe are just temporary creations of your own mind, what is truly holding you back from waking up? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey of the mind, and I'll catch you in the next one.